Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another YouTube video on the KP's Place YouTube channel. We have got our Crown Jewel reaction video. So we're going to be going through all of the matches that happened during the WWE Premium Live event. We're going to be talking about things in terms of our understanding of the matches, what we thought of everything, how we thought the results went, and we're going to be going along with that. I am joined today by Scarlett and Kurt. Once again, we will be going along with this video. And let's get underway, I suppose. Let's get down to business here. So, our first match then was obviously Brock Lesnar taking on Bobby Lashley. And going into this match, I was thinking, wow, these two heavyweights, they're going to put on an absolute, frantic sort of, match here. It's going to be pretty chaotic. It's going to be it's probably going to bring out the best of these two competitors at the moment. It's literally like a heavyweight clash. I was genuinely a little bit underwhelmed regarding this match. Yeah, sure, you had the intense start with obviously Bobby Lashley attacking Brock Lesnar, and then obviously that we can see there spearing him through the barricade. And Bobby Lashley dealt out a lot of the offense in this match, it's safe to say. He delivered most of the offense. He got hit by a couple of F5s, but regarding that, it was essentially all Bobby Lashley except for a few German suplexes. And it made Bobby look good, in terms of the match itself. Obviously, he didn't come out with a victory because obviously at the end you have Brock Lesnar sort of getting his way out of the hurt lock by, kicking away at the turnbuckle, bouncing back onto Bobby Lashley and just covering him like that for the pin. A little bit lucky in that sense, but yeah, in my opinion, this wasn't a very good match. It just didn't interest me in the slightest. I thought I was expecting good things from this, I'll be honest. And maybe it's the part inside of me that really wants a Brock Lesnar match to be good, but it just doesn't seem to happen anymore. And I think I'm sort of out of giving him chances now, to be honest with you. But yeah, I really didn't like it. I thought it was perhaps a little bit surprising that Brock won the match. I thought maybe Bobby Lashley was going to get the win, but I mean, I'm not too surprised by it, I suppose. But yeah, not particularly good match. High intensity for sure at the beginning, but lacked a bit of in-ring ability. To be fair, I think Brock hit two moves. I think he hit an F5 and a German suplex. So yeah, it's just a Brock Lesnar match at the end of the day. Lashley had to bring himself down to match Brock's level for this match, and you could tell that it wasn't really great for Lashley in that respect. But I gave this one a 3.5 out of 10. I really wasn't happy with it. Kurt, what are your thoughts on this one, buddy?
So, as you said, KP, I didn't really like this match much. It didn't really last long. I thought it would have lasted a bit longer than this, longer than about 5 minutes. I think it lasted for. I mean, obviously, I had Bobby Lashley attack Brock Lesnar before he entered the ring, and then dominating him before even the match started. And then Brock Lesnar get his momentum by doing two moves, his S5 and his suplexes. And then obviously Bobby Lashley with looking stronger and put him in a hurt lock, and Brock Lesnar countered it by going on ropes and get the pinfall to the win. For me personally, I didn't really like this match much because I wanted it to happen a bit more, a bit longer on. So for me, I give this match a 5 out of 10. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I don't quite know. I guess I don't know why this match led the show off. I don't, the heel face dynamic was interesting. I thought, even at the time, I think Bobby was still technically the face, but he was very much the heel in this match, in this arena, and Brock was definitely the face, which I guess is the only reason I can come up with as to why this led off the show. Brock got the victory, even if by means of, kind of I guess their point here was to kind of keep everyone safe, and that neither of them got really the loss. Technically Bobby did, but he came out looking much better than Brock. But I do love that they're continuing to build him up. That was my one hope for the match, continuing Bobby's momentum. I just kind of going off what KP said. I don't really care for Brock's matches. Haven't for a while. Most of his matches are paint by numbers, and you can, move across to a few other people a few moves here and there, but for the most part, generally the same thing. You put him with someone like AJ Styles or Seth Rollins, he'll have a better match because he's being carried. But as far as his matches go, I usually just not a fan. I gave this one a 3 out of 10. Over to you, KP.
Yeah, okay, we're all pretty much on the same sort of wavelength there, and I can understand why it wasn't great. But yeah, let's move on to something which was a much better match, let's say. And we had Asuka and Alexa Bliss taking on Io Sky and Dakota Kai Damage Control. So this obviously was a weird one. You had this match on the episode of Raw beforehand, literally on the same week, and Asuka and Alexa took the championships off of Damage Control. Then we had this match at Crown Jewel, and it was a case of Damage Control getting the titles back. So a little bit of hot potato there. I don't really know why they went in that direction. The only thing we can really think of is that this is the first women's title to change hands in Saudi Arabia. So whether it's literally because of that, I don't know. I don't know if that's enough. Don't know if we're clutching at straws, but I mean, it's a slightly historic moment, I suppose you could say. So maybe that's the direction they went in. Regarding the match itself, though, I thought it was quite surprising because, again, I didn't expect the titles to be, passed around like a hot potato. I thought it was going to be a case of Asuka and Alexa keeping titles for a little while and then maybe Damage Control getting them again in the future, but not too long away, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, a little bit surprising. It was a good result, though. I was very happy with Damage Control getting the titles back. I want them to keep it for some time now. Let's hope they do. But yeah, good match overall. There was some good quality from everybody. I thought all 4 women really brought it and they really showcased the talents as they can do. Regarding the whole interference by Nikki Cross, you can see at the bottom left there at the end of the match. Again, it's a bit of a weird one, but I think now Nikki is starting to align herself with Damage Control in this sort of like build up to War Games potentially. And obviously then we can go from there. So yeah, I think this is the right way to do it. Obviously, you've got Damage Control and Nikki Cross there, sort of like co-aligning. Obviously, it's going to have to be a case of Alexa, Asuka, and Bianca getting some help in some direction. But I'm quite happy with how things are going in that respect. But Cross does seem quite barbaric in terms of who she's attacking. She has actually attacked Damage Control in this feud already. So it's a weird one, right? But hey, it was a great match. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was a nice change of pace from, the previous Brock and Bobby match that we just witnessed. So yeah, it was immediately going from sort of a really poor start to a good recovery. I gave this match a 7 out of 10. What about you, Kurt?
For me, this match, I didn't really enjoy watching it because I knew the outcome, what will happen. I know that they do good momentum, which I enjoy watching them do, like good spot moves, like they suplexed all the 3 women on the turnbuckle and stuff. And I knew that Damage Control were going to win as before the match because we had that little teaser from Bray Wyatt's television thing from Alexa when they were doing their promo before the match. I knew that Damage Control were going to win, so I wasn't really that interested in this match. I knew Nikki Cross were going to intervene at some point because that's what she did with Bayley, because they were going to do like a feud or something. So with this match, I think Alexa will join Fiend earlier on. I think that's why Damage Control got the titles back. And I think they got the titles because during this pay-per-view, there was no title change. So they probably just had this match in because they would just want a title change to entertain it more. So I give this match a 6 out of 10 of the Scarlet.
Yeah, the little bit at the beginning before the match with Alexa is interesting. I'm curious to see what they'll end up doing with that. As far as the match it goes, I thought it was contender for the best match of the night. I think you just not one particular spot in the match. I think just overall the match was really good. I think you have 4 wrestlers, including Bliss, who's in my opinion the worst of the bunch, but even she looked really good in this match. Best I've seen her in a while. I think it's just a matter of giving 4 wrestlers decent time in the ring to work a match, and I think we kind of saw the outcome here. Yeah, one of the best matches of the night. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Over to you, KP.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the bit at the start with the Bray Wyatt sort of like symbol logo, I guess you could say, coming up when Alexa and Asuka were given their promo. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I really am curious to see where they're going with this. Is Alexa really going to go back to that? I hope she doesn't, but I suppose it's an interesting topic of discussion. So we'll see where it develops from there. There's been a couple of teasers. So yeah, let's see how things go. But obviously, happy that this match ended the way it did. Right, on to the next one, which was obviously Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross in that steel cage match. And this match was good. Like, you had the previous encounter between these two in that strap match, and obviously we all know the way that went. It wasn't particularly great. It wasn't a whole lot of fun to watch. This one was way more interesting. It was way more entertaining to be able to witness. And regarding the steel cage structure, I thought it played a nice part. I thought these two guys, obviously, they are on the heavyweight sort of side of things, and they used it effectively. We saw a lot of good offense within the cage. I thought the result was expected. Like, I genuinely didn't look past Drew McIntyre winning this match, but I'm happy that he won because Drew had been on this sort of run of taking L's at premium live events, which was a bit shit. But hey, we're back onto a good moment for Drew McIntyre now, him winning that match. So that's what I wanted, and I'm glad it happened. So yeah, again, I thought it was really, really good overall, entertaining match to watch. Both men really did very well in it. The superplex off the top of the cage was a nice spot as well. I think Karrion was on the top and Drew McIntyre was on the top rope. I think he's on that top left photo there, actually. But yeah, that was a nice spot. I enjoyed that part. The ending was kind of odd with obviously both men trying to escape the cage. This is my only criticism really with this match. Like, these two guys want to beat each other up. They want to put each other down, right? At the end was very much a case of who can escape the other first. And I didn't really feel that was the way to go in this one. But, I mean, I suppose, are either of these men really going to put the other one down? That might be the way they sort of projected it, and they wanted to make us think about it. But I honestly thought it was a case of they were trying to escape each other rather than beat each other. So that was just my only criticism with this. But obviously Scarlett getting involved, as we all knew she would, even though the steel cage is apparently meant to stop it. But yeah, regarding that, I thought it was a great match to watch. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and I gave it a 7 out of 10 for this one. How about you, Kurt? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for this match, I really enjoyed it as it was two heavyweights clashing together. And I really enjoy it. This one's better than the Extreme Rules match or the strap match. I really like the suplex on the top rope that Drew McIntyre delivered to Karrion Kross. And obviously we knew that Scarlett were going to get involved by pepper spraying Drew so he can't escape. And she actually pepper sprayed the ref so that he doesn't leave the door open for Drew to escape. On the ending, I thought it would be a bit different than both of them escaping. I thought it would be Drew claymoring Karrion to get the win. But I like the ending. It was fun to watch, and I really enjoyed it. And that's what I got to say. And I give this match an 8 out of 10 over to Scarlett.
Yeah, it could just be comparatively speaking to the strap match that I'm pretty sure we all hated. Most people hated. But yeah, the ending was good. Dramatic ending. I do have a complaint about the door. I'm not sure when that rule started, but I just think it's a cheap cop out, and I hate it. Every time they use the door, just it kind of takes away from the steel cage structure, in my opinion. I kind of wish they would just not have that ability to go out the door. I understand that it makes for a little drama at the end, and probably takes away from the boring aspect of the steel cage, and maybe boring is the wrong word, but it makes it more interesting as far as the finishes go. But I would like that to not happen. Steel cage matches, I think, would make them more entertaining. But a good fun match. Saudi crowd was really invested in this one, especially Scarlett. But it was a fun match. I give it a 7 out of 10. Back to you, KP.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, at least it was better than the Strat match, right? It was way more interesting to watch. So we can take some positives out of that, and it's good to see Drew getting a win. So I'm happy. Right, let's move on and let's go on to our next match. And here we've got the OC taking on the Judgment Day. So obviously we all know how this one went down. You had the Judgment Day getting up to their usual antics, using Rhea Ripley to get the advantage, and they ultimately got the win because of her interaction. This match was fine. Like it didn't really like hit me on a level that it was like great or it was good. Like it was fine. Like it was okay, but it wasn't a surprising result given the situation. So obviously the OC didn't have a solution to the Rhea problem, and it was as if they were surprised that Rhea got involved again and cost them the victory. So I mean it just made the OC look a little bit stupid in that respect. I know things have been resolved since then on Raw. I won't go into that because obviously it's nothing to do with this particular match in this event, but it did make the OC at the time look stupid and look as if they didn't know what to do regarding Rhea Ripley. So I was quite critical of that particular choice. But yeah, it felt a little bit anticlimactic, didn't do the OC any favors, makes them look a little bit foolish. But I thought it was a decent match all around up until that ending. I thought there was some nice tag team offense involved, like throughout the match, and both teams were like doing well with sort of like a chemistry fashion. But yeah, just a little bit of a dull ending for me. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't my cup of tea, let's say. So yeah, how about you, Kurt? What do you think of this one?
So for this match, I was like in the middle of this match. I thought it was good by their momentum, but not good on the winning bits, because I thought OC would pick up the win as their new tag team, because that's what WWE would normally do. So I thought the momentum were good, especially the bottom left corner of AJ Styles and Finn Balor suplexing each other, and Damien and Luke gonna throw each other on the backs on it. For me, for the future, I would like to see AJ Styles and Finn Balor, because I think them two are the ones that make this match more entertaining by the moves and stuff that they use. So, and I was expecting that there were going to be a return for the OC, but I'll talk about that later on with me and Scarlett, talking about Raw in the future stream on Scarlett's channel. So for this match, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Wasn't really the best, just like the moves and stuff, especially Finn Balor and AJ Styles, because they should have a match future on, because they're good athletes. As do you, Scarlett.
Yeah, you took the words straight from my mouth. The main note I had was I could watch AJ and Finn wrestle all day. Just two of my favorites, just going at it. Both just, nothing I can say here that everyone else doesn't already know. But yeah, kind of the point that you both made was this is a pay-per-view. You should have some big big event happen or change the story projection, but it didn't really. It just continued on what they've been doing on the weekly shows. You have that fourth element in Rhea, and this should have been the blow off moment where they had Mia. And I'm sure there's a reason why she wasn't, but yeah, definitely took away. The match itself was good. You just can't overlook that the main point of what should have been this match should have accomplished. So I gave it a 6 out of 10. Over to you, KP.
Yeah, I think we're on agreement there. It's sort of how it went, right? It didn't really live up to what it was. It felt like a Raw match, so it's not quite the expectation you want for a preview live event. Okay, so the match that followed this one was Braun Strowman against Omos, obviously dubbed of like Giant versus Giant and Monster v Giant, however you want to call it. Two absolute like Goliaths going at it here and up against each other in the ring. And right, people that are close to me know that I'm really not a fan of Omos in any sort of capacity, and I just don't think there's a place for him in the wrestling ring. I really, really don't. And it transpired into this match as well. I've seen a lot of people going on about this match saying that it was better than it had any rights to be. And okay, that's fine, but it still wasn't good. Like, I'm going to judge a match based on if it's good or bad. I'm not going to judge it on whether it should have been, it's whether it was better than it should have been. Like, I don't think this was that good a match even still. Like, yeah, sure, it was a little bit longer and it was a little bit more, I don't know, surprising than you would think it would have been, but I don't think that's justifiable as saying it was good to watch. I just didn't enjoy it. I thought it was dull. I almost can't wrestle. He proved that again. And Braun Strowman hopefully can move on to other things now and, get away from him. So that would be ideal in my in my opinion. It was just slow. It just didn't interest me in the slightest. Omos doesn't have a good in-ring presence, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. I just didn't enjoy it. Like, it was a little bit better than the Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley match because of a variety of offense, but that's essentially all I'm basing it on. Kurt, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, repeating what KP said, I didn't particularly enjoy this match because Omos didn't have good moves. He just splashing Braun Strowman on the mats and stuff, and Braun Strowman just couldn't get more momentum until the end as he's got the win. That only the win that I were happy for, because I thought, due to WWE logic, I thought they're going to make Omos win and do another feud. But I'm glad that Braun Strowman won. And obviously at the start they were just taunting each other by almost raising his hand to see if Braun Strowman can't reach it, like they do to Hornswoggle back in a few years ago. Yeah, so this match for me is quite dull and not really enough momentum. So I give this a solid 4 out of 10 of Drew Scarlett.
Yeah, so you have a steaming pile of crap. It's not quite as steamy as we thought it would be, but at the end of the day, it's still a pile of crap, right? I feel bad for Braun being put in this. But yeah, I mean, it was better than the Braun match, for what that's worth. And, I think you made each competitor look better. You made Omos, he was able to pull off some offense. I think probably his best match to date. And then you had Braun raising his hand at the end. I think that's the best result we could hope for. And yeah, it is what it is. 4 out of 10 for me as well. Back to you, KP.
Swift, I like it, and I loved your your comparison there. It's fantastic. Okay, on to our next match, which was the Brawling Brutes challenging the Usos for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships, and I thought this match was incredible. I am a really, really big fan of this match. I very much enjoyed it. It was an obvious result, don't get me wrong. We all knew the Usos were winning, but I don't think that took away from a nice ending to the match, which there was a point where it looked like the Brawling Brutes actually had the Usos, and I think the crowd were quite kind of invested at that point as well. And then obviously, the Usos managed to turn it around and get that victory. But yeah, the expected result didn't take away from what was a really, really good match. And in my opinion, it potentially matched of the night with an upcoming match as well. But yeah, I mean, close went toward the end. The Brawling Brutes thought they had it. I really liked the ending with the 1D off of the top rope. I thought that was a really good way to end the Brawling Brutes. Basically say if this doesn't put you away, nothing will. And yeah, I think it was just nice storytelling in the match, and they did a good job. All 4 of these men did really, really well at the show. So yeah, it was very, very fun to watch. Good finish, in my opinion. And yeah, I gave this one an 8 out of 10. So yeah, I'm a very big advocate for this type of match. Thought it was a great tag team display. Kurt, over to you, lad.
So yeah, I enjoyed this match. Obviously, we all knew that Uso was going to pick up the win because they weren't going to lose it that easily. Especially, we knew that Uso was going to win as they put the Titantron that Usos would go up against New Day this SmackDown coming up. So we obviously knew Uso was going to win. I like the momentum of the 1D, as KP said. And I really like when Ridge Holland were remembering Sheamus as he was doing Sheamus's chest slams to think Jey Uso on the top right corner. Yeah, but I think this match was the best of all, including the one coming up, which I'll tell you about when we get to it. Yeah, so nothing much else to say about this one. I give this one a 7 out of 10 of D Scarlet.
Yeah, I think maybe there was one particular instance where I thought maybe they were going to lose. At the beginning I was like, no, they're not going to lose. Usos aren't going to lose, no way. And then a couple times they got me. I thought maybe the Brawling Brutes were going to end the streak, but they didn't. Great match. Yeah, crowd was really hot for this one as well. The Sammy chants. Am I remembering correctly that Sammy does not go to these shows? Let me know. But for some reason, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, good match. Unfortunately, I thought there were a couple of better ones on this card. But this card was pretty stacked. So not to bring down this match at all. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, lovely stuff. But yeah, really, really good match. And I'm glad that we all very much enjoyed it. So let's move on to our next match then, which was the Raw Women's Championship contested in the last woman standing match. We've obviously had the champion Bianca Belair defending against Bayley. And this match was one that I was very much excited for and very much looking forward to, being able to watch. And it didn't disappoint. Like, I thought it was a very, very fun contest between the two of them. I thought both women really, really brought it. And it was quite chaotic in parts. You had the bit with a golf cart, which was a little bit, I don't know, it was a little Like I get the idea and stuff. Like it was a nice way to try and get it involved in like something a little bit different. I think it was a little slow when that got involved, but hey, that doesn't take away from the whole match being like quite brutal with obviously the inclusion of like of various weapons. You had tables, you had chairs. Obviously that gold cart as well. There are a fair amount of things I think with candlesticks involved in this match as well. Obviously the steel steps. Yeah, there was some nice spots in this one, and both these women are at the top of their game right now. Let's be honest, and I don't want this to end. I want Bayley to get the victory and become the Raw Women's Champion, but obviously we saw Bianca winning this one, defending it successfully. But I'm hoping Bayley gets it at some point soon. That would be nice. That's the only criticism I have with this. Disappointing result, but the match was fantastic to watch. I couldn't praise the match itself enough. I give this one an 8.5 out of 10, narrowly surpassing the Usos in my opinion. But yeah, I think either match really could have been match of the night. Both fantastic. Kurt, over to you.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the match most. I didn't really like the results, but I think the next rivalry with Bayley and Bianca, Bayley will pick up the win because I thought Bayley would have won this. So talking about the match then, as I really like the moves as they put a buggy tram in it and did good moves on it, especially when Bayley buried Bianca in the steel steps and didn't wanted to get out. I thought as she went down, I thought she was going to crawl under the ring and get to the other side. That's the way that I thought she was going to stand up. And I really liked the buggy cart when they were fighting on the top. I thought they were going to someone going to drive off the side of the ramp and someone fall into like power station stuff like they did in the 19th century of wrestling. And for when Bianca Belair did a KOD to Bayley on the steel chair, I thought Bayley were going to have another knee injury because she was focusing on her leg. But overall, I really enjoyed this match. Not with the results, but I think she'll get it at some point. So I give this match a solid 9 out of 10. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, you both brought up the main points that I was going to as well. But you just had two women at the absolute top of their game. Two of my favorites. You just can't say enough about how good this match was. The spot where Bayley tripped, I assume that was intentional off the ramp, and then the KOD on the chair. The first spot, especially, my heart kind of stopped for a second. I was like, oh no, Bayley's going to get injured, and this whole storyline is going to be, down the crapper. But she appears to be okay. I could have done without the golf cart as well. I think Yeah, it just they were both trying so hard to make it look real, but then you could tell they were nervous to actually hit one another. So I think that was the only drawback of the match, but obviously the other spots, very much made up for that. The only reason I can come up with Bianca keeping the title here was simply a matter of you want someone on the face team for Survivor Series to have a title. Is that a good reason? No, but that's the only reason I can come up with. Yeah, neither of these women came out of the match looking bad, though. No one really lost this match, I guess is the point I'm making. My favorite match of the night, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Match of the year candidate for me. Over to you, KP.
Glad that we're all on the same sort of wavelength there. This match was quality, and I really don't want this to end. So we'll see what happens regarding War Games Survivor Series. Okay, our next segment of the night, I should say, was Bray Wyatt pulling off a promo. I'll be honest with this one. It was nothing special. It was another one of Bray's promos that we've seen recently. I think we're all wanting more from him now. We want him to be more involved, getting in the ring, doing what he's good at. And obviously it ended with Uncle Howdy interrupting him via the Titantron vignette. So yeah, I guess 1 to 5 out of 10. Sound of what we've been seeing so far. Let's hope for more going forward. Kurt, over to you.
Yeah, due to KP, I didn't really enjoy this segment much because he could have just done this on SmackDown. I just thought that he was going to announce he's going to be in a match next pay-per-view or something like that. So I give this a 4 out of 10 over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with the rating. You could copy and paste my response from Extreme Rules. I think they're just doing this to show that he's going to be on the card. Let's get him in the ring. Over to you, KP.
Yeah, makes sense, right, guys? Okay, the last match there was the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Obviously, you had the champion Roman Reigns defending against the challenger Logan Paul, and yeah, this was a good main event in terms of how it was meant to go down. You had Logan Paul, massive underdog, up against this God mode Roman Reigns that we've been seeing. And yeah, I mean, it was an obvious result, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't take away from what was a good match. You had a load of interference, which obviously is what we're used to in the Bloodline. But this time you had Logan with his interference. You had the members of Impulsive. You had his brother Jake Paul. And I like the fact that Solo came down separately as if to say, right, you're out here. I'm coming down now. So there were some good moments regarding that. I thought Logan's offense was fantastic when he put off like the buckshot lariat, for example. That was utterly brilliant. And doing the frog splash off the top rope through the table, again, fantastic moment. Yeah, both men were really, really great. I very much enjoyed it. And yeah, that crazy sort of interference at the end. Overall good match, and I'm glad they told it in a way that didn't make Logan look too bad as well. So yeah, great match. 7.5 out of 10 I gave it. Over to you, Kurt.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. This is one of my other favorite match. During this match, I thought that Logan were going to win as he did this finisher, but Roman managed to kick out, and then the Usos obviously will come in and try and attack them. And then Jake Paul come in and attack the Usos with 1-inch punches that they always say. And then Solo Sikoa come in for backup. And then I thought they were going to be doing good bashing together, but then before the refs break it up. And then obviously Roman get a spear and hit and get Logan as the win. I give this match a 9 out of 10. And also on this picture, I noticed Roman's looking as a worry face. So I was thinking that he's going to lose the title soon, because not normally see Roman has a worry face like that at the end. So that's what my prediction is. Over to you, Scarlett.
Yeah, I wasn't worried at all, except for that one. There was a point in the match where the announcer said, "This is every wrestling purist's worst nightmare." And I thought for a second there, maybe. I was like, surely not, but they just put that down in your mind. Yeah, if anything, maybe a little overbooked, but maybe that's not a thing with the Bloodline anymore. And I think Roman kind of sold a little bit too much for Logan. If you have this this wrestling guy, head of the table, all the names. But I think they might have oversold a little bit for Logan here. But it was a great match, gave it 9 out of 10. Really no other complaints about this. I think the sky's the limit for Logan, and I think I don't see Roman's reign ending anytime soon. Back to you, KP.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for your opinions there. I'm glad that we're all sort of on the same wavelength for basically all of these matches. So yeah, that concludes basically, the reactions to what was Crown Jewel. I thought, overall it was a fine show and there were some good matches, but there were a little bit letdowns. But hey, let's not get over that. We know all of our opinions anyway regarding the whole thing. Let's look forward to Survivor Series and War Games. I'm so hyped. Can't wait for it. Let's see what goes down. Fingers crossed we get the Bloodline in it. And fingers crossed we get, obviously, Damage Control and Bianca and all that lot in there as well. Thank you again to you guys. Thank you to Kurt. Thank you to Scarlett for joining me today. It's been a fantastic one. Loved hearing your opinions. Loved hearing your thoughts on the matches. And I'll see you guys next time in the Survivor Series predictions video that we'll be doing in the build-up to that event. So cheers, guys. Thank you very much for your support today. It means a lot to me. And thank you to everybody for tuning in and watching this video. This has been another KP's Place YouTube channel video with KP, because that would be me, and with Kurt and Scarlett.